Well, hello you wonderful people, I'm Amy or AWayfaringFrog and welcome back to the channel and welcome to another Sims 4 speed build. Today I was really inspired by the Nature's Calling event and also just the fact that Enchanted by Nature is going to be out soon, so I figured I'd do a little build that was something I'm going to be using for the Nature's Calling event myself. So it's a little cottage that I decided to build in Moonwood Mill. It just felt very natural, and there's even one of the werewolf groups there who are very keen on looking after the environment and gardening and things, so it just felt like the perfect spot. So I'm just doing a little cottage here. I tried to make it look very whimsical as well, partly because I thought it would be fun to envision that the sim who lived here had built it themselves, and also just because I'm so excited for Enchanted by Nature and fairies and all of the cool builds that we'll be able to make with that. As of recording this voiceover, we've now seen the gameplay trailer for Enchanted by Nature and it looks amazing. I really can't wait to get my hands on that game, or that expansion pack. So yeah, let me know if you've got any specific requests for builds you'd like to see from that pack when it does come out, because I intend to build quite a lot with it. Also, wanted to quickly make a note that even though I haven't posted a career-inspired build for a while, that's literally just because of the new content for Enchanted by Nature. I'm just so excited right now by that pack and this event and things that I'm getting a little bit distracted. I have already recorded a little sweet shop build, so I will post that and then I'll get on to sorting out the other requests and start building those from my latest poll. So I'm really sorry that it's been a while, but due to my trip to Japan and all of the recording that I had to do in advance of that, things are a little bit hectic right now, but hopefully it will be back on track soon. But anyhow, you can see that the exterior of the build is coming along. I really wanted to have kind of a wooden shack style build, so even though there are lots of items in this event that are going to come out, and that includes a really lovely looking wallpaper, I don't have my hands on those items yet because I'm planning to play the event in this build. So I figured that I just go with what we've already got at the moment. So this one is from Horse Ranch, this wallpaper. And then the roof texture is actually one from Werewolves. It's got this really lovely mossy effect to it. And then I combined these with some Seasons assets. So the stone on the front of the house and the chimney is from Seasons, and I paired the columns that match that as well, just to help it bring in a bit more texture so it doesn't look completely wooden. You may have also noticed that I've just been skipping past the placement of this window and door, and that's just because I end up replacing them entirely, picking different ones. The windows all come from Cottage Living in the end. I feel like I've been using those a lot, but I've also been building a lot of cottages and fairy themed builds, so I guess that kind of makes sense. Hopefully this is different enough from the last build for you though, that it doesn't feel too repetitive. But I did have a lot of fun with this one. And as you can see, I'm just trying to sort out the garden area. I really wanted to have plenty of space for your sim to be able to do some gardening and outdoor activities, but it just felt like a bit too much to have it cover the entire lot, so I decided to break it up a bit and include a pond at the front. I was having some issues with the fence, which the fence decided to have like a little foundation to it, so when I sunk the ground down to make the pond, it kind of had a weird base, but I just deleted the fence and restarted, and then it sloped down into the pond, which is kind of what I was going for here. And then I just made it look super overgrown with lots of landscaping, which we're just getting to now. I also made sure to include the little fishing sign so that your sims can actually fish here, which I thought again would be really useful for this pack or for this event. I don't know anything about it yet. It has started as of recording this voiceover, but I haven't played through it yet because I wanted to get this build done and then have a look at it myself. But I did also intend to include where I've just put the werewolf's pea bush in the back. My plan was to replace that eventually with the little outhouse that you can get from the event. I thought that would be a lot of fun, and so I made sure to leave a decent amount of space there. I don't know how big the item is, but I don't imagine it's much bigger than that space. And as a result as well, there isn't actually a toilet that's very accessible to any guests to this house. It's just an ensuite off the bedroom, and there's only one bedroom here, and it's kind of a lofted space. Kind of seemed a bit weird that if you had guests over, they'd have to go upstairs and use your toilet after walking through your bedroom. So they have the P-Bush for now, but then once we get access to that particular item within the event, I intend to kind of replace that. And so I think once I finish through my Let's Play, I might record it. I haven't decided if I will yet, but you'll know if I do because it will be posted on the channel. But I intend to re-upload to the gallery the version that's got all of the Nature's Calling event items within it. Oh my gosh, and I realised as well, after I made my sim and moved him into this house ready to start playing, I'd made a mistake. I left something in that shouldn't be there. You know how if you're building and you use move objects to like fill up all of the slots of a shelf so that you can custom place things on your shelf? Well, I didn't remove the things that I randomly placed, and I should have, so whoops. But if you did want to download it off the gallery, it is available on there just under my EAID AWayfaringFrog. It's also under the hashtag AWayfaringFrog, and the information for all of that is in the description down below. But the item, I'll show you when we get to it. It's only small, so you should just be able to delete it quickly. It does also mean that it technically costs less than what I've put in the description, but that is the cost that it's on the gallery, so you need to factor in the fact that something needs to be deleted if you did want to download and play in it. It is also fully play tested, so it shouldn't have any issues for you. But I've now pretty much figured out the window placement as well as the doors. I went for this really cute fairy one for the back door, and then this cottage living one at the front. I don't use it very often because the door knocker on it, which is shaped like a fox's head, has the most horrendous gold swatch from most of the door swatches. I don't know what it is about The Sims 4 and these super bright orangey swatches, but that one has it. The white swatch, or the creamy door swatch that I've picked though, thankfully doesn't, so that's why I went with that one. I did think the light colour helped balance out all of the dark woods that are going on there. So even though it is a little bit different to everything else on the exterior of the build, I feel like it's a nice accent colour. So hopefully you agree. I am just going through and adding loads of vines as well. I'm just using the ones from Cottage Living. I really can't wait for Enchanted by Nature for that, because I'm pretty sure we should be getting lots of vines that will be hopefully much easier to place rather than just using the ones from Debug. Also, I'm sorry if my voice sounds weird. I don't know what it is, but ever since Japan, like literally halfway into the trip, I've just had this issue with my voice. Some people say they can't hear it, but I can, and it's just driving me insane. So I am going to the doctor soon to find out what it is, because if it's an illness, I have zero other symptoms, so I don't know what's going on. But I just feel like I sound super croaky all of the time, and I don't love it. But hopefully I'll be able to get that sorted soon, so if I do sound different, that will be why. But we are now continuing with the landscaping. I wanted to make it look very overgrown, so I used some base game bushes as well as a few from werewolves just to help it blend into the surrounding area. And I added in all of these little bits of lavender just to add a pop of colour throughout the space. The back garden as well ends up being very not structured because I was really going for kind of a carpenter who would live here, and they're probably a loner. Basically, I ended up making a sim straight after building this, and I made him a loner as well as a couple of other traits which I've forgotten now. Obviously, it loves the outdoors. I feel like that had to be a given. But because I don't intend for him to particularly host many people here, I wasn't too worried about having like a nice little table outside with a grill. I just went with a woodworking table as well as a little fire pit. And also for the woodworking table, I end up using the one from the Restoration Workshop kit, just because, again, as I mentioned, I'm building this in order to play the new event. So even though that new woodworking table is technically out, because I think you just have to log in for that one, but log in through live mode, I haven't unlocked it yet, as I'll be doing that in my little playthrough. But do let me know if you would like to see me post the playthrough that I do. I am planning to record it. I haven't actually recorded it yet. I intend to play that a bit later today. I don't know, I feel like it will be very short because these events don't really take that long, but it might be a fun little extra video for the week. So let me know if you are interested. I might post it anyway, so we'll see how I feel. But we are now moving on to the terrain paint, and this terrain paint did decide to delete itself at some stage because I built this over a couple of days since I didn't have time to finish it on the one day I started it, which was really frustrating, but oh well. That is what I get for doing the terrain paint before I finished everything else, isn't it? So I guess I only have myself to blame. But I just used the one terrain paint, to be honest. So I feel like it blends in well though. It's the one that came in the base game update when werewolves came out. So it kind of looks like loads of dirt and pine needles, which I thought was really cute. And then just adding a few activities outside. I wanted them all to be very nature inspired, so I included the telescope. And then, as Simsy always says, now your Sims have another way to die if you wanted the chaotic playthrough, which I always find very fun. I did consider using this chess table here, but I end up scrapping it in favour of the fire pit that I add a bit later on. And I made sure to include lots of planters because, well, I feel like Enchanted by Nature and Nature's Calling, it all screams having loads of plants to be growing. It also looks like, actually, in the new gameplay trailer, that you might be able to put the existing plants, so like the daisies, the rose, things like that, into the indoor planter boxes, which I think is really exciting because it's just a nicer way to include a lot of the existing items that we have. So it's not just adding new stuff, it's helping combine with existing packs and content, which I really like. And now just adding some sawdust underneath where the woodworking table is going to be. So I did consider using this base game one initially, but I ended up switching it out for the Restoration Workshop kit one. Again, I'm going to replace it as soon as I start playing and actually get my hands on the new one, but I just liked the look of this one more than the base game one for now. I also just added in a few other bits and bobs like the bucket seat, so that ends up going around the fire pit that I'm just adding in now, as well as a few more little chairs. So again, even though I don't envision this sim hosting people, I thought it would just be a nice little bit of fun for them to cozy up around the fire when it's getting a bit chilly outside. Also, I wanted to make sure that there were pets in this household, so there is space for a dog and a cat. There's no like dog bed or cat bed, but I really hate the stuff for pets in this game. I don't think they look comfy at all. The cat condos are way too big and just don't look that good. So I really don't like them. So I didn't add any into this build. Plus the dog bed is so huge and so flat, it just looks ridiculous to me. It kind of looks like a rug more than a dog bed. So I don't rate them at all, so I didn't bother adding them. I figured they can sleep on the bed or the sofa. Although the sofa is actually a wooden bench with some cushions on it, so it might not be that comfy, but thankfully that doesn't matter in The Sims 4. I did also just add in one of the items from Eco Lifestyle Outdoors, which is that little bug item, so you can help or you can farm things like crickets or bombardier beetles and stuff like that. So I thought that would be a fun little extra since it's all about nature here. And now we are inside, and I've picked out the wallpapers here, just fairly simple. Went with a nice green theme again. I'm just obsessed with this colour, I can't help it. I do end up switching out these horse ranch cabinets to be blue though, because there's something about this green, it just doesn't look right to me. I don't know why. I love the colour, but not as a kitchen cabinet, if that makes sense. So I just thought this blue helped make the room look a lot better. I also used plenty of clutter from the kitchen clutter kit. I still love that one so much. And it's actually one of the items from that, the little grocery bag that I end up leaving in the wrong place later on because I was using it to, as I mentioned, cover up all of the slots of a shelf so that I could custom place things. So whoopsie, my bad. Hey, I think it happens to the best of us, so hopefully if you did want to download the build, you don't mind too much. It should just be an easy delete. There is also this weird little hallway that leads to the kitchen, just due to where the stairs ended up fitting best. There was this bit of kind of dead space, so I made it into a hallway. I tried to make it kind of functional, so this is where the food bowls go, and since I envisioned having a dog and a cat in this household, I popped one on top of the, unit that I've just got under the window here, your cats can jump up on there and eat the food, so that shouldn't be a problem. And then there's one on the floor so that the dog can get to it too. I don't think dogs can jump up onto the counter like cats can in The Sims 4. I might be wrong. I mostly play with cats, to be honest, and I've never even put a food bowl on the counter before. I've literally just seen other Simmers doing it and it works. So hopefully it should be fine, but there is one on the floor just in case that one on the top doesn't work, so it shouldn't be an issue regardless. The dog and cat can hopefully just share their food together. But now jumping back into the kitchen to clutter it up, I made sure to include some more fun functional items like the little cookie jar, which is also from that kitchen clutter kit. I've never actually used this in gameplay. I haven't been doing a huge amount of gameplay outside of, well, in fact, I take that back. I haven't been doing any gameplay outside of my businesses and hobbies let's play. So maybe I'll make sure to add myself a little cookie jar into that let's play so I can start experimenting with these new items. Also, for the decor of this whole build, I was going for kind of handmade and rustic, but I also didn't want to make it look so rustic, like they lived in the middle of the woods by themselves and just, I don't really know how to describe it, but like I wasn't going witchy cottage. I was trying to go like kind of whimsical, but like they're good at their craft. They make really lovely wooden furniture and paint it really nicely, and it's not like it's super rustic all the time. So I feel like this unit in the hallway kind of hopefully helps show what I'm going for in terms of there's like splashes of nicer looking furniture around, as well as the more rustic stuff like in the kitchen with the very rustic blue cabinets. I just thought it maybe helped make it look more realistic. So perhaps when they started their craft and started building their house, again, I imagine they maybe built this house from scratch, then some parts of it look older and more worn as a result because of age, and also like they had less skill at the time that they started, and as they've progressed and got better at their craft, their skill has improved to the point that the items just look nicer. It's kind of the story that I was going for, at least. But we are now in the living space, and it's a little bit long and skinny here. I did have a look at the items that you can unlock from the Nature's Calling event, and it looks like there's a really long table, like a 3x1 size. So I considered trying to fit one in. I ended up cutting it off camera though, because I didn't go for it in the end. As you can see, I've just used this table from, I think that one's from Parenthood. The space was just too small. The entire room would have to end up being a dining room, and I did want to have a little bit of a living room space, so I just scrapped that plan altogether. And when I unlock it in my own little playthrough, I guess I'm either just not going to use it, or maybe it will become like a desk outside for them to do woodworking on. I can't remember what it looks like, so I'm not sure what I'll do with it, but this house was just not big enough for that. I am just darting around though, trying to figure out how to fill up the entryway space as well as the living area. As you can see, I've created kind of a built-in bookshelf area around this fireplace. I just really felt like it looked a bit bland and I needed something. So I ended up going with this, and so I switched out the Growing Together fireplace, which I originally had here, and used the base game one, which came in a fairly recent update at the beginning of the year. It doesn't look totally built in, sadly. I was kind of hoping that the bookshelf would connect up with the fireplace, so it looked like it was all one piece, but due to the size of the room and the tile limitations, it just wasn't working out, so I did my best with what I had. You may have also noticed that a few colours of things, like the dining chairs, kept changing, but at this point I have now settled on the colour scheme, so I'm going with this. Part of the issue was when I brought in the curtains, it just became way too green and I didn't want to completely colour soak the whole space. We are now in the little entryway though, and here is that grocery basket which I mentioned. I'm about to duplicate it on the top so that I can cover up the slot up there to be able to custom place some shoes on the bottom shelf, and I just totally forgot to delete it. I feel like I watched back some other Simmers videos and they might make a similar mistake like this, and I'm there watching it like, oh, that's really obvious. How have they not deleted that? That's kind of funny. And I've just done it myself. So I think it's just when you're so involved in decorating, it's really easy to just ignore things like that because you're focused on another part of the build. So watching it back makes it look so much more obvious. It did not feel very obvious while I was doing it though. So I am sorry about that, but it's fine. I removed it for the screenshots. That was where I realized it was there. I should definitely do screenshots before uploading to the gallery next time because yeah, I think I make mistakes like that a lot and most of the time I catch them, but this time, nope. And anyway, we are now upstairs in the little lofted bedroom space. I thought about using the bed from Horse Ranch, but I really like this one from, oh, what's that game pack called? The camping one? I've forgotten. Is it Outdoor Retreat? I don't use it very often though, because I don't massively like the swatches on it. This is my favourite wood swatch of the Outdoor Retreat items, but then the bedding just looks so bland. So I don't generally use it, but I felt like it worked here and I just brought in a lot of the colour and the rest of the space. So I think it worked out in the end, and it was just such a fun headboard with the really swirly wood that I really wanted to use it because it felt like it would be nice and handmade for your Sims. And then in the bathroom, I originally thought maybe I won't include a toilet in here at all because I'm envisioning having the outhouse, but it just seemed too impractical, so I ended up using the shower from the university expansion pack, so your Sims can walk over it and therefore they're fine with accessing the toilet and the sink on either side of that. I did have to scooch around the windows a little bit though, so I don't think they look as good with how they are now, but it's more functional on the interior and you can't really see those windows easily from the outside anyway. But now just sorting out some clutter around the space, I added in a lot of shelves, and you may have noticed, especially with the bookshelves downstairs, that I haven't really decorated them. But again, because of the event, I envisioned that I'd use the collectible that comes from the event. So I think there's some kind of like nature magazines or something that you can get your hands on. Again, I haven't played it yet, and I don't even think those items are all out yet, I'm not sure, but that is what I was planning to do. One of my favourite things when playing in my own gameplay is just to collect stuff from around the world, so I love the collections for that, and I really enjoy decorating my Sims houses with it. So I made sure to leave plenty of open space on the shelves and just added a little bit of decor here and there, so it doesn't look completely empty and a little bit odd. I also made sure to bring in a little plushie as well from the For Rent expansion pack, just because I thought it was so cute, so I'll go ahead and grab that a bit later. It's just the one that you can get from the Tiger Sanctuary. But that is pretty much the end of the speed build portion of the video, so if you have been enjoying it, be sure to hit that like button. It really does help that channel. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already and enable notifications so you'll know when I next upload a video. For now, I'll leave you to the screenshots. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now!